if I can afford any of these things, I would probably have money so I could call an Uber and I could probably just keep ordering healthy takeout, right? Because we can't eat like pizza every day, but we can order like healthy, like sushi or like salads, right? So I'd have to go with the pristine house. Welcome to Cocktails and Gossip, the podcast where we drink cocktails, but you better believe we're going to spill the tea. We chat reality TV, celebrity blinds, and the hottest tea from BravoandCocktails.com. And as always, it's all alleged and just for fun. We do not verify our blinds. I'm B.
And I'm Amanda. Let's get into this week's tea.
What's up, cocktailers?
Hey, everybody. It is Friday of BravoCon weekend, and stuff is getting nuts. Let's just put it that way. I mean, all the just stuff coming in between like yesterday and today, I can't even keep up.
I mean, you and me both.
So it's Friday of BravoCon, right? So today is the 14th. So you're going this weekend. We won't say which day. I will tell you, I am going away for the weekend too, not to BravoCon, but do not have to drive any kids tonight or really all weekend. So I have started by, opening a cocktail as well, which is just the perfect way to start the weekend off.
And much deserved, might I
add. Okay, so let's talk about all the stuff that's coming in.
Okay, so Amanda, last week we had this whole theory that was given to us by a follower about the Gansevoort. It was true. But I want to say, so when our pod came out, which was 4 days after we recorded, apparently MJ on her podcast, shout out to MJ, I love her, and Teddy and Tamara on their podcast leaked that people were staying at Gansevoort. But when we recorded, guys, we didn't know that. Mm-hmm. Yes, we knew that people that go and watch What Happens Live stay there, but we didn't know. And another follower of mine, one of my sources, actually, she's a great source for a variety of reasons. She has a friend who works at the Gansevoort. So she told me when she listened to my pod, she was like, B, Bravo has the whole hotel. So I was like, that's amazing. So yes, that was true. And it kind of went public. I have to say, I think it's so cool that Bravo did that and kind of like leaked it, because a lot of my friends were there last night. Other accounts that I'm friendly with were there, and they met everybody, Amanda.
Oh, so fun.
I was so tempted. I almost hopped in an Uber, but the problem was I had a family function and I could not miss it because it was, I just couldn't.
Yeah.
Otherwise I would have been there, but I felt like I was there.
So fun. And, guys, like this is how this all comes together, right? Because we get stuff from different just tips and then different sources. And so we had the person who was like, hey, I think something's going on at the Gansevoort because of BravoCon. I can't get a table. I think the rooftop, it's totally booked. And I think, I have a feeling because that's where they usually stay, and then we had the other source who has a friend who works there. So that's why we so appreciate you guys all sending this stuff in, because with all these different pieces, we can put it together. And I would hope we have some great cocktailers who are there on ground at the Gansevoort and sending us in everything that's happening, which we know actually at least one is, because we've been getting some good stuff.
And what's funny? When we first had the Gansevoort theory, now Gansevoort, and this is the one in the meatpacking district, about 10 years ago when all my friends were getting married, we did a lot of bachelorette parties. Like we'd get a room at the Gansevoort, we'd stay there, and we'd go somewhere, in the meatpacking district. So to me, in my mind, I just felt like it was kind of old hat. Do you know what I'm saying? I was like, I don't know. Because listen, if I'm a Bravo Leb and I have the Bucks, I'm staying at the Pierre.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is where our boy Justin Anderson is staying. And here's a little tidbit. He posted last night that all of the stars were so sweet and so lovely, but there was one who was acting like a real diva. And I'm very disappointed. He told me who it was. And I'm so disappointed. It was Melissa Gorga. And I'm like, but Justin, maybe she was having a bad moment. And Justin's like, I know that's your girl, B. I know that's your girl. I was like, it is my girl. And then he's like, you know what, B, though? I could totally see you having a diva moment yourself. I'm like, absolutely. So like, listen, and I always feel this way about celebrities, right?
Yeah.
We see them in like a snapshot. So anybody can be having, like, maybe she just found out that her hair and makeup for today or the girl got sick and she has no hair and makeup. So maybe in that moment she was having like something going on and she's not really a mega bitch.
Yeah.
But I am going to find her. And if she gives me an attitude, I'm going to be like, fuck you.
I don't know. I feel I have two thoughts about this. One is you never know if you happen to be walking on somebody and they just were told some really bad news, right? Or, like they just got their period on their beautiful new white dress. Like you never know, right?
Like Charlotte in, although it wasn't a beautiful dress, in Just Like That. Did you watch that, by the way?
I did.
We're totally, when the second season comes out, that's going to be part of,
for sure.
of this because I am a Sex and the City fanatic. I love it. And so many people complained about it. Like, listen, I get it, but you can't recreate them 20 years ago, right? We all change. And I thought for what it was fantastic. There were parts I didn't love, but.
I agree. No, of course I watched. And of course I watched back in the day. I mean, I was single in my 20s. My girlfriends, we would all order in food. And oh my God, I have such funny stories about those years in my life. But we had like what we called the compound. We had two places. Maybe on subscription. I'll tell more stories about that. But anyway, we would watch it every Sunday. And so, of course, I've been watching. Anyway, but my other thought about Melissa and what could be happening is like, I cannot imagine having to be on and like smiling and happy for 3 days in a row. I think that would be hard. But I also feel like you got to buck it up and do it. Like this is once a year. This is a chance to make a really good impression with some of your fans.
And I mean, it was the first night. You should be at your best. Like you're not even tired yet.
Right. And with Justin Anderson, because if you're a bitch to him, he's going to tell people about it. So like
right?
Not to be fake, but like, I mean.
See, to me, Justin Anderson is like just as big a star as any Bravo celebrity. So
I agree. I enjoy him so much.
Okay, so I'm going to just spit out some stuff that's been coming into me all day because I'm not there today, but you guys are, and you're sending me such good stuff. So first from last night at the Gansevoort, Brandi Glanville checked in at 12:30, totally fucked up. Taylor and Austin walked in together. They got in an elevator together. I mean, yes, she's taking pictures with Olivia. So are we crazy with this? Maybe they're just friends, but they're together. Shannon apparently called Gina a douche.
I saw that. I was just dying. I texted you because you had thrown it into like the stuff that we're going to talk about. I was like, oh my God, this is so funny.
Madison was stunning. Somebody else messaged me and said Madison isn't as pretty in person. You could say what you want about Madison, but I think her looks are one thing that I wouldn't critique because I think she's a beautiful girl. She didn't like Olivia. It was obvious. Meredith Marks was dressed like Elvis.
Oh,
I mean, and then let's see what else. So, Lisa Rinna is getting booed. She got booed at the Beverly Hills panel, which there was a whole thing. It was overcrowded. Bravo actually posted something like apologizing. And that's why I decided to go Saturday. I figured they would work the kinks out. I just said when I'm going, but like there's 8 million Bravo celebrities. Nobody cares about me. Okay, so Rinna got booed. Erica got booed. Every time they spoke, they got booed. And I have to say, I felt bad. Like I get it, and they said this at the reunion. I know we're going to get into the reunion, but like Andy said, guys, this is a show. And I think we all do need to be mindful of that. And whatever we think about Rinna, and she went for Kathy is also on the show. So she signed up for it.
Right.
When you sign up for it, you sign up for it. So that's that is that. And then Lisa Rinna. And now I don't know. Okay. So an inside source told me that Lisa Rinna, the reason that she doesn't have a booth at the Bravo Bazaar or whatever they're calling it, or we're like sewing down south and, everyone's selling their merch. That's why she has this truck that she's going to have in Manhattan. Mm. And so she's only going to be on the panel and then she's going to be in Manhattan selling her stuff. Now, it could be a timing thing because remember, she signed on late. So maybe there wasn't room for a booth, but like they can make room. So Okay.
Especially for very small beauty products like that. I'm like, pillows I get. Like, you need a lot of space for that.
Right. And okay, so I'm going to go back to what's happening at BravoCon, but I want to say this. We got this email yesterday. Season 13, filming to begin mid-November. I hear your ice and your wine. I love it. A new famous face will definitely be added, as well as one other newbie. At least one oldie will be back in official capacity. Kathy is leaving on her own accord. Diana is done. Rinna is too, but expect her to be in a similar position as Dorinda with the network. Since Rinna and Kathy are both leaving and are major parts of the show, they decided to keep Dorit full-time rather than friend because they don't want a dramatic change. Crystal's up in the air. I have to tell you, I'm reading this, but I also am now telling you that my source, our friend Amanda, who tells us but this same source was the one who didn't hear about Tamra coming back. So he says they're all negotiating. They're talking to the woman. Nothing's officially decided. He was told the new woman is not famous or well known. So basically.
And then the oldie is? Do we know who the oldie is?
I'm going to assume that that's Kyle, right?
Oh, okay.
I don't think Kyle's going anywhere.
Okay.
Okay, so another thing that came into us, somebody sent me a picture of Teddy and Vicky spotted hugging at BravoCon, but then somebody else sent me a picture of them arguing. So I don't know what came first. With them, it could be either.
You don't know when, each person saw whatever. So
then Lindsay was asked if the rumors about her and Danielle are true. She said, you have to wait and see. But she also said they have a very complicated relationship. She hopes it can work out. I can tell you that Danielle went to Pillows and Beer, and she's been hanging with Paige and Craig and that whole crew. She is very much on the opposing side of Lindsay. She has had it with her. She, according to my source, has seen the light. She says that now she sees why Lindsay never had any girlfriends. This is all what we're hearing. I am very curious. Lindsay said, wait and see. I'm curious if Danielle will be vocal about this.
Very interesting. I wonder on that topic, I wonder if Bravo must go over with them and say, here are the things you can talk about. Here are the things you can't talk about before BravoCon, right? I would imagine, because they're going to want people to give away a little something so that it feels like there's news coming out. There's something that's a headline coming out of every session. They can't. So there must be some sort of here's the carrot, but the rest of the whole dessert and dinner you cannot share, right?
Absolutely. But there are ways that Danielle can say something more strongly worded than Lindsay said. And it goes back to our feeling that Lindsay's the guilty party. I mean, I don't know how to say that because I think
it takes two to tango in anything.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It does seem, though, I
feel like Lindsay's perception is that Danielle should be happy for her and let her have this honeymoon phase. And I feel that Danielle feels very dropped, like a hot potato.
Yes.
And I do think that it's something that can be worked out.
I hope so.
I also know that Lindsay has a lot of power with production. So I'm curious if Danielle will be more outspoken to secure her spot.
So,
because if you're seen as Lindsay's sidekick and you're no longer that, does Paige and Amanda's crew really need another lady? Not really.
I mean, that would be cool, though, if Lindsay just goes and says she's out, if she has that kind of power, assuming she does, right? I mean, wow.
If anyone would do it, though.
Yeah. Well,
and another thing I want to say is when we posted, people have said, oh, Lindsay and Carl, whatever, she's awful. Everyone is forgetting that pre-sobriety, Carl was awful too. I have to speak up for Lindsay here and say that she's on a reality show. I think that what we see is very much a character. And I think that none of these personalities are perfect. And I always feel like the woman gets the worst. Like Hannah Berner, I totally do think that season was a flop for her. But she wasn't asked back. And so many of our male contemporaries have had flops and yet they're asked back. So It's such a double standard with women in every aspect of our lives. So I can disagree with certain things about women, but ultimately I don't like that Carl, it's like everybody forgot that Carl was raging. You know?
Oh, I mean, I haven't forgotten. I mean, it's nice to see his arc and the way that things are changing, but I mean, I look at him and I'm like, were you always really just this nice of a guy, or like what's happened here? You know, I think there was always that sweetness with him. I think he always had that very sweet side. But I mean, I don't know. For anybody who's seen those previous episodes, it's hard to forget. I mean, he had a very ugly side too.
Agreed. So. Oh, this is a really big one. And I don't know the truth to this, but somebody that says they're in the know told me surprise concert tonight after either Legends Ball or Watch What Happens Live. John Mayer's doing a concert.
That's not shocking to me.
Not shocking, but so cool.
Yeah. So wait, so both of those are happening at the same time, right? So then that means whoever's at Watch What Happens won't be at the Legends Ball, or
I don't know. I guess. And the other thing is, I'm inclined to think that John's going to be wherever Andy is. So Watch What Happens Live.
I was just going to say the exact same thing. So, okay. So wait, what about everything that's being said? There is, well, and Bravo's even saying there is going to be a huge announcement that will shock everybody.
So everyone keeps asking me this, Amanda, and that is so vague. Mm-hmm. Okay, first of all, that's going to shock everybody. You heard the rumor, which we did not put out there, that Andy's stepping down. I think we spoke about it here. It's funny. Bravo TV today in their stories had a picture of Andy, and under it to the right, there was the Grand Dame, Karen Huger, to the left, and next to that was Craig. My guess is that they're poking fun at the rumor because why would Andy be retiring? If anything, he would be getting a bigger job, and maybe that would open up but I don't think it's that. I mean, listen, I don't know. Okay, Dorinda and Jill were getting on their panel. They just started fighting like freaking cats and dogs.
Oh, funny, not shocking.
But like, it's funny. Like, this is why we love New York, because they are friends. These two go back. Their girls were in school together, okay? This is like, they were on the PTA together 20 years ago, okay? And now they're ticked at each other, and they'll end up being friends again. They're frenemies, right? Even the best of times, they always, whatever. And they literally were just sitting there like how you or I would argue with like a mom that like we like, but she annoys us. Like, that's what they were doing. It was so classic Roni, and like, I love it. Also, the reboot is fully cast, and they will be filming soon.
Okay, so I'm sure we'll probably hear at least who a few of the people in the cast are.
And remember, guys, we predicted Lizzie before anybody.
Yeah. And do you follow her on social?
I do. And, you know, people talk a lot of smack about her, but like, first of all, she's gorgeous. And second of all, I really like, and especially at this moment in time where there is so much anti-Semitic, disgusting stuff floating around, I love that she is so vocal about her religion. Yes. And for me, I mean, I'm a Catholic girl. I have plenty of Jewish friends. I actually went to a Jewish sleepaway camp, little tidbit about me, but I love learning about other religions and cultures. We spoke about loving that about Salt Lake City. And it's so New York. I mean, it's Jill Zarin circa, you know, like, although I think she's modern Orthodox, I want to say, which a very good childhood friend of mine is modern Orthodox. And I got to tell you, her wedding was one of the most fun weddings I've ever been to. So
yeah, I think she might be too, from watching the rabbi do the whole like I'm sorry, everybody, if I call this the wrong thing, like purification or cleansing ritual of the kitchen when she moved in. Like, yes, I agree. I think some of this stuff is very interesting. Here's my thing. And Lizzie, if you're listening, like, I 100% agree with what B just said. I think your content is very interesting. I am not Jewish. I find like your word of the week very like, and I love how you get your kids involved. I am wanting to see a little bit of the messier side and a little bit of the less perfect side of her life, because I'm starting to roll my eyes a little bit when I see her content because it's all too perfect. So let's see some of the mess.
And do you know what the perfect way to see that is? Put a camera in her fucking face. Let's really put some real cameras in her face, not these edited versions. You know, it was funny, and I've told you guys before. I love following what Lola likes. She's the Bella twins. Brother's soon to be ex-wife, and she lives in Arizona, and she's got this beautiful house. And it was funny because she was doing stories the other day. She's like, this is pretty much a reality show, except I edit everything and curate it. And and like, I listen, I love, and I like, you know, it's at night and I'm laying in my bed and I'm looking around my room where there's like, you know, on the couch, there's laundry that needs to go away, and there's this and there's that. And I'm looking at these people's perfect houses. But I think we all like know that that's not real. I mean, I guess for some people it's real.
I think for some people, like if you're a Kardashian and you have a lot of people who literally pick up messes as your kids drop them on the floor, yes.
You know, okay, what would you pick? Okay, here you go.
Okay.
You can have a driver, a chef, and you can't combine them, okay? Amanda, don't cheat.
Okay.
A driver. They're only driving you. Your chef is only cooking for you and your family, all meals, all snacks, everything. Or a person who lives with you and cleans and does laundry and keeps the house pristine.
I'm thinking probably somebody who is literally keeping the house. I'm between that and the chef. The driver thing, as much as I like talk about having to drive kids, I don't mind it that much. I'm somewhere over there, probably. And actually, because I've kind of been on strike from cooking for many years now, I used to cook and love it, but now I'm like I've just been on strike for kind of a while.
I think that was COVID when we were all stuck in our houses. Like there was a point where we couldn't even get takeout in New York. I feel like I just got sick of my own freaking kitchen. And I used to love to cook. I'm Italian. Yeah. It's what we do.
I think the cleaner. What would you choose?
Okay, so it's hard. I would love a driver, but I could never have a driver. And the reason I could never have a driver is I think I would have a drinking problem. Because I think I'd be like, oh, hey, John, can you drive me to soccer practice? And like, I would bring like my Prosecco in the back of the car and like drink on the field. So that's out. A cook, I feel like if I'm well, and also if I can afford any of these things, I would probably have money so I could call an Uber and I could probably just keep ordering healthy takeout, right? Because we can't eat like pizza every day, but we can order like healthy, like sushi or like salads, right? So I'd have to go with the pristine house.
Yes.
Even if it meant half of the reason I don't want to cook, but half the reason I don't want to cook is because of the cleanup. Like when my cleaning lady leaves, that night, we don't cook. We order in because I'm like, for one freaking night, we're going to have a nice, beautiful kitchen.
I totally agree. And you guys, when we're saying like somebody clean, like I don't mean a cleaning lady. I mean somebody who knows like where, when I go to Target and buy the tampons, where to put the tampons away. And like when my kids, you know, come in with their soccer cleats, like where like all of that kind of stuff, like so that I don't even have to tell them. Because, you know, there's also the day when your cleaning lady comes that you do the panic. I always say I'm like so mean to my family. Again, first world problems, guys. But like I am mean to my family on cleaning lady day because I am like, go put your stuff away, clean up. Blah, blah, blah's coming. You know, I need somebody who knows where everything goes and the house is still pristine.
When I was a kid, my mom was home with me. And then when my mom went back to work, I was in grade school. My mom and listen, in New York City, I don't know how it is other places, you know, back in the days, but it was fairly easy to find a cleaning lady. My mom was like, and she was not an extravagant person who wasted, but the one thing she said, if I'm working full time, I'm having someone help me. And the first thing she did with her first check was get a cleaning lady. And that morning was like, well, I told you to put this. It was like everyone got it. And now I am my mother.
Yeah.
And the good part with me, Amanda, though, is that my husband works from home. So that morning, whatever's out, I'm like, hon, let's get this together because she'll be here in a little bit. Got to go to work.
Yeah. That's so funny.
Yes. Okay. Well, that was a tangent.
I love it.
Okay. What else is happening? Oh my God. You're going to love this. Rochelle got called out. She was on a panel with Gigi, our favorite firecracker from Shaz. First of all, I love Shaz so much, but that'll be another tangent. But Gigi's there and she's on the panel and she goes, wait, isn't that the girl that sleeps with people's friends or husbands or something like that?
Oh!
Meantime, one of my followers smoked a joint with Gigi last night outside the Gansevoort.
Oh, too funny.
Do you love it? I think she gave her
gosh.
her own joint. I guess that's like her COVID way of, operating, which is very generous.
Oh my God. You guys, I can't wait to get all of these little details. Like Shannon calling Gina a douche is like my favorite thing I've heard like all week for sure.
You're going to like this one too. So Vicky was just on a panel today and it was the relationship panel. And she said that the follower says the OG of the OC called Teresa the most overrated housewife of all time. She's like, I wish I got it on video, but everyone in the crowd freaked out.
Ooh.
Yeah. Also, tonight at BravoCon, so you guys obviously are going to know this, Family Karma trailer comes out tonight. It's finally out. Monica's dad, how cute. Monica's dad is a doll, told one of my followers. So.
Love it.
Love it.
Oh my God.
You want to know so
fun.
sweet? But you know that Bali, I'm sure you watch Family Color. Bali actually like messaged me and she's like, I have an extra ticket if anyone needs. I'm like, you're so sweet.
Aww.
I've had followers that for various reasons couldn't go. I had one follower who was like, I don't even want to charge anybody because it's last minute and like I can afford to take the loss. So I would love for you to post these and like you pick the follower that you feel like whatever. And I was like, oh my God. So one of my, and I wanted to keep it fair. I said, you have to take both tickets for all 3 days and like, don't lie to me, like really use them, right?
Yeah.
General admission. And what the first follower who messaged me got them. So one of my followers gifted one of my other cocktailers. Okay. Look at this cocktailer community.
Love it.
2 3-day general admission passes. And I'm like, this is so sweet. And she's like, I can't get there. And I want to know that they're being used. Like, I was like, I love this. I love this. So.
Oh, well, good. Well, without getting into too many other predictions, because we've been talking about this, guys, don't forget that just because you don't see somebody on the list of appearances doesn't mean they're not going to be there. Remember that there are mystery guests. Andy loves to have the doorbell ring and it's, who knows, coming in the door. And I think that could be an interesting venue. I'm just going to call this one out real quick for them to announce some surprise news. So some people who might not be on the list could be coming with some news about, new shows or new appearances, that sort of thing. Just a guess.
Absolutely. I mean, they're pulling out all the stops. I think I can't wait. I'm like so excited. Last time it was like something like 10,000 people. This time it's going to be upwards of 25,000. I'm a little nervous about the lines, to be honest with you. I feel like it's chaos. As long as the lines at the bar aren't long. If I have a cocktail, I can wait in line. Kathy's going to be there. I know there was like all this talk that she wasn't going to be there. Kathy's there. We saw her in the conga line. Mm-hmm. Apparently, she's only there at the photo op. I don't think she was on the Beverly Hills panel. I think, listen, this Lisa Rinna stuff with her is like real deal. It's like craziness.
What about that info you got about what each person who is a Bravo celebrity gets as being part of like what their setup looks like? I think you should share that.
Oh, okay. So this is an interesting tidbit by Talent, which there's so many that it's not giving anything away. Each person gets a whole team with them. Okay. So they have a handler, somebody who's like their assistant for the day, a golf cart, because tons of walking. Yeah. So I have these coolest boots. I'm going to post them because they were so freaking cool, but they're like stiletto. My sister-in-law, who is like such a fancy type, like always dressed up, is like, B, you're not walking around Javits Center like in these things. Like, are you okay?
Are you?
No. So okay. I got these. I'm not going to say I'm not going to say anything. Well, this will be out after anyway. But long story short, I have more modest heels that are like really fancy, and I'm wearing those. So each person gets a whole team, a handler, a golf cart, and an off-duty SWAT guy. Pretty intense.
Well, that makes sense, right? They need security. I'm glad. I'm glad they have it. That's good.
How I found this out was I was chatting with Talent, and I said to the person, "Are you a little nervous? Like, people are crazy," and because they said to me, "Well, no, because of all of this," and there's going to be the bazaar and Bravo stars will be selling their swag and products. Amanda, back in what I want to say, August, we got an email on what to expect at BravoCon.
Mm-hmm.
I feel, I went and I didn't even ask for your help. Are you proud of me? Guys,
I am proud.
The text that I sent Amanda just like midday, like, hey, what was the name of that post? She's like, oh, B, Jesus.
And you guys, we both were the blind leading the blind because neither of us have a good memory. And someone will be like, that rings a bell. And then I can't find it. So we're both searching for it. If you and I had like really great memories, like we would be Andy Cohen.
I mean, could you imagine? iHeartRadio would have called us months ago. But seeing as how we have early onset, I don't know what, we're not. So I want you, okay, so can you read this and then we like kind of like hash it out?
Okay, yes. Hold on. I'm looking for it in the notes. Hold on. You guys, I'm so sorry.
Do you want me to? I'm going to read it then.
You read it, yeah.
I have it and then you'll hash.
Okay.
With BravoCon being back after 3 years, and this was in August, guys. There are plans to make it big. A lot of announcements of new shows, new cast members, and returning cast members too. Here's some of what you can expect that weekend. The View-style talk show with former housewives to be announced. Lisa Vanderpump, Kathy Wakili, and Cynthia Bailey are locked in. Roni reboot, Roni Legacy official cast announcements. Jersey trailer, debut of their new housewives. Returning Atlanta housewife announcement for season 15. Real Housewives of Dallas reboot announcement on Peacock with 2 returning girls, a new housewife city announced, an unexpected city. There's more in store regarding former housewives returning to Bravo in various ways and new show concepts that aren't 100% set in stone. Still have 2 months to confirm. First thing I want to say, Kathy Wakili is not at BravoCon, so we never thought that name made sense. So, I don't know. At some point this weekend, does she pop out? I don't know. I don't even follow her. But, like, the Roni reboot is, we've already heard that first day.
Yep. New Jersey trailer. That makes sense. Like, let's dangle this carrot in front of us in October, even though we're not getting it for 3 months.
The new girls are not slated to be there. Doesn't mean that they're not going to pop up.
Yep.
Okay, the Dallas thing. Guys, we get the Dallas thing. I have to say, when I first got this, and I've gotten a lot of Dallas stuff, my feeling is it took Miami 8 years to reboot, right? I didn't see it happening so quickly. But the emails are persistent, okay? And they're emails. They're not from the source. They're emails. Bravo has seen the success of rebooting Miami. So is it possible? Stephanie Holman says, no, she hasn't spoke to anybody. She won't be at BravoCon. Deandra's in New York City. Now, she's not slated to be there, but she's posting stories at restaurants with her mom. I don't know.
I think they'll be behind one of the mystery doorbells. Ding dong.
Yes.
Here's my thought. This is my theory about Dallas. I think you're right. We really have been getting so many emails about it. I know you've been getting DMs too. The part of the thing with Peacock with Miami is there was no Peacock until this year. And Miami is one of the shows that Peacock really used to kind of boost viewership. And so now we have Peacock. And so I could see them accelerating a return to Dallas on Peacock because now we have the venue for it. So I don't know. I think based on we have the venue and based on the fact that we are getting so many emails about it, I think there's some truth about it. Now, who is on it, I think is questionable right now. What we're hearing is Deandra. We're hearing Stephanie as a friend. We're hearing
Carrie Duber.
Carrie maybe. We're hearing.
But then I was told by someone that knows Carrie that that's not the case. So.
And then we're hearing Tiffany maybe. So we'll see.
Conflicting reports on Tiffany. One thing that I think will be announced is the Martha's Vineyard, the like quote unquote summer house Martha's Vineyard deal with the first all black franchise. I think we're going to hear about that because we know it filmed. I mean, I know it filmed and I know it's picked up by Bravo because I got the actual pictures of the Zoom meeting with their pictures and like, like what they're going to use for advertisements, for marketing. So I know that that's happening. So it's wrapped, it's filmed. They're going to announce that.
And that cast is very good looking, by the way, guys.
And Martha's Vineyard to me is so interesting because I don't know, people are like, oh, it's a sleepy town, but I feel like beach towns are always cool.
Yeah, I think it'll be good.
Now, Atlanta we know is filming. Oh, by the way, we leaked Cynthia's divorce days and days before she confirmed it. And honestly, a source told me this and I didn't post it because I love Cynthia and I very much wanted it to not be true. And you guys know, and followers and people and haters especially tell me I'm biased. And in this case, if it were somebody else, I would have gladly posted it probably a month ago, but I was biased and I wanted to give my Cynthia the benefit of the doubt. With that said, I thought possible return when I heard the divorce, but now I'm thinking, because that email reminded me, because goldfish memory, that she was the one with the View style talk show.
Right. I really, really hope that's true, because girl, Cynthia, we are all rooting for you.
And remember how sad she was on the girls' trip and how she was so not herself?
Yes.
And honest to God, it didn't occur to me at that time. I assumed it was that she knew she wasn't back on Housewives. I wouldn't have thought. I mean, they're married. It would have been their 2-year anniversary, the week they announced. 2 years.
Yeah. It would have been this week because that blind said 10-10.
You're going to yell at me, but I want her to get back together with Peter. He loves her.
I mean, maybe just for sex. But I don't know. I think she needs more. And I think she needs somebody who's going to be really faithful. And
I love her first husband, too. With her. Maybe they could work it out.
I like it. I'm with you on that one. That one I would really like to see.
And they have such a good friendship. They're like the Frank and Dolores of Atlanta.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And Peter was always intimidated by their special bond.
And you could understand why he would be, right? But
I think his name is Leon. I mean, he's a famous actor.
Yes, Leon.
He's also beautiful. Yes. And their daughter is the most gorgeous mix of the two of them. They're both beautiful people. And then they made this Noelle, who is she got the best of both parents.
I know.
Gorgeous. Looks, and also she's very bright and,
Yeah.
She's a great kid. So, we love you, Cynthia. Oh, Cynthia got a standing ovation, by the way, on her panel today. And I like women supporting women. This is what I love about Bravo fans.
So how many times do you think you're going to cry tomorrow?
Wait, do you think why would I cry?
Would you cry? Oh, see, I get emotional about the weirdest shit.
No.
You know that you won't? Oh, I would cry probably 3 or 4 times.
I'm a screamer. I'll be screaming.
Yeah.
You're a crier, I'm a
probably would get the first really big one where there's all those people. I would probably be I can't believe I'm here. And I would get teary.
No, I'll be screaming with it. You're a crier, I'm a screamer. Okay, you have that established.
I'm not a crier, crier. And it's just I get at my kids' Christmas program, I have to bring 1 million tissues because I bawl the whole time. I don't know why.
I do in those, yes, but that's more sentimental.
That's what I'm saying though. These big moments, or if I wouldn't cry out of this is going to make me sound like such a shitty person. I wouldn't cry out of sympathy with somebody, being sad about somebody getting divorced, Cynthia getting divorced, right? I would get more
seeing Cynthia in person.
Yes, something like that. She makes me sound like such an asshole.
Well, no, because it's the same emotion, right? So I'm screaming because I'm excited, and the way that you channel that excitement is you just get flustered and start tearing up, and I'm flustered and screaming.
And also weirdly, bagpipes. If I hear bagpipes, I start bawling.
But again, I'm Catholic, bagpipes funeral. So yes.
I don't know. It's so weird though.
And also my dad is Irish. So for me, it's a cultural thing.
Yes. You were here, and somebody had suggested having them in our wedding. I was we can't. I
had them. Wait, Amanda, I had bagpipes at another adjacent. I had So a friend of ours from college played the bagpipes, a lovely young lad. And so we were at our friend's wedding. Cause you're friends with somebody, but they're not your best friend kind of thing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so he came over to me and my husband and he was listen, I know you guys are getting married in 3 months, and he lived not far, and he's like, I'd love to play the bagpipes. So then, of course, we sent him an invitation, but he's like, you don't have to invite me. I'm like, you're our friend, and you're playing the bagpipes. So like, you automatically. So yes, I did. Outside the church, he played. Very cool.
Oh, and one last thing, like mariachi bands at Mexican restaurants, I can't stop laughing. Like, I cannot control myself. Like, I have to walk out of the room.
Why?
I don't know.
Do you know what I love to do? And I do it to my husband, and he gets so mad at me whenever. So there's this place that we like to go, and I can't do it every time because obviously he's waiting for it. But every once in a blue, like I'd say I'm good for once a year, I tell them it's his birthday. and they come out with the sombrero and the whole thing. Oh my! And the whole restaurant does it, and he's like, just looks at me like I'm going to. Yeah.
Oh my God, that reminds me, you guys. So last Saturday, B and I were texting. I took an edible. I'm not gonna I was. And
wait, you didn't tell me that.
I did. I took an edible.
I thought you were drunk. I assumed you were drunk. Because I was having a couple glasses of wine. I wasn't where you were, but I was like, I was in an understanding. I was like, she's had a few.
We started talking about pranking, and we both have all these funny stories about. I love to prank people. Like, now that I'm an adult, I do it nicely. Like, nobody's like the butt of the joke, but we went back and forth and told some funny pranking stories. I think we'll have to say that one for the membership site.
That was good. And that's very funny that you were doing edibles. I can't wait until we do this in person.
I know. I agree. Every once in a while, I'm like, that sounds like I'm not doing much tonight. Let's just take an edible. Okay. Anyway. All right. Should we move on from Bravo and then to the pod exclusive tea we have about NFL stuff?
I think we should, because I feel like this is going to come out and, guys, let's face it. I like to be on record because everyone loves to say we're wrong. And sometimes we are fucking wrong. I don't actually work for Bravo. I am legit a fan. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a pod exclusive. The football divorce that we're all hearing about, the relationship troubles are so publicized because it takes the focus off of inappropriate behavior and discussions with Miami. Basically, some people believe they're using this divorce rumor as a distraction from yet another football scandal. I even saw a rumor, Amanda, that she's dating. Football fans, this one's for you. And ladies, and it's so funny, Amanda, because whenever we do anything sports related, some of the cocktailers message me and they're like, B, thank you so much, because I went and told my husband and he was like, no way, blah, blah, blah. And then it ends up whatever, a while later. And how'd you know that? So, husbands, let your wife listen to Cocktails and Gossip on your car rides, okay? Because you're going to learn stuff too. Here, there was a little nugget of football tea for you.
We went through a whole tear there for a while. We had some really, really good pro golf stuff, guys.
And when we have the subscription site, I'm going to we're going to go back to our golf blinds. I have to tell you something. To me, I always saw golf as like a rich white old man sport. It is freaking gangster what happens with the golfers. Jeez Louise.
To the point where it's like there's no, people are severely fucked with if they talk about the stuff that goes on too.
Yeah, so subscription only. Oh, well, on the sports tea, some scoop on Mr. Edmonds. Basically, what I'm hearing is he got married and honeymooning during baseball playoff season.
Mm-hmm.
Word is they're phasing him out. He's no longer well received or desired on air. So this whole whirlwind wedding could just be an attention grab, one last attention grab, and we could expect to see much less of him. I mean, that is until his next pregnancy or next wife. And with that, I will say, somebody told me he has a $57 million contract. So clearly he has money. But he likes the spotlight, because if he didn't, he doesn't need to be posting all this stuff. And you know what I'm saying? Only people who want the spotlight do that. He could live rich, quiet. No one's looking for him.
100%. Holy moly, $57 million. That really got my attention. That is a shit ton of money.
I'll take 1 million.
Yeah, seriously. Okay, so we also saw Leslie Bedore, who catching everybody up. David David filed for divorce and then said never mind, and then Leslie a week later said actually we are getting divorced. But then shortly we saw a cocktailer send in a picture of them shopping at the mall. And then this week, Leslie posted a story to Instagram of her out to dinner with David with his arm and his ring on out at dinner, but then took it down.
I mean, a mess. Like, even her name annoys me, Leslie Baddour. I have a follower who spells her name Leslie the same way, and she's like, I can't. Why does she have to spell her name like mine? I'm like, I totally feel you. If I had that name, you want to change? Should we change it? You think we should we just change your name?
Change my middle name to I Was First.
Speaking
Leslie,
of a mess.
I Was First Baddour.
Yeah. The DuBrose closed on a $14 million condo. Their realtor was Heather, Tariq, whatever. The HGTV guy.
Heather Young.
Yeah.
I forget
Young.
what the last name is.
Tariq, whatever.
Something, yeah.
She was their realtor. It's very convenient timing with the OC rumors. So I have an insider who claims the rumors may have been planted for attention storyline. That's just a rumor. They did the photo shoot and shout out to Faces by Bravo. Any Bravo Insta fan knows him. He's hysterical and funny. And he pointed out he had this meme and he said, kind of convenient that she's doing this photo shoot when Bronwyn was doing it. He took a quote from Heather that she said somewhere, and it was like, there's no paparazzi in OC. If you're photographed, you call them.
I love too how we had gotten that blind that was talking about Heather DuBrose's outfit, that she was in an aggressively casual outfit.
And the woman was so mad about it. And all my followers were like, what's the big deal?
And then you posted it and you're like, if you know, you know. And I'm like, oh, that's so good.
I mean, she still looked good. She's a beautiful woman. They're all beautiful. Listen, they're all beautiful. So it's funny because a bunch of followers said to me, like, B, I don't think this is doing what she thinks it's doing because it looks like he just bought himself a bachelor pad.
Well, that was my thought. Because when they were talking about that, I was like, oh, is this where he's gonna? And I'm like, then that wouldn't make sense. But I don't know where his office, like where his medical offices are.
I haven't the slightest.
But I'm like, that was exactly where my head went too. I don't know. I
see mine didn't. I don't know why. I almost believe that it's a planted story rumor because I think that he's very devoted and like infatuated and in love with her.
I mean, I don't know. Like I've said before, I think he's way too scared of what she would do. I think he's also just has a healthy measure of fear of her.
But the persistent thing we keep hearing is that she hasn't been spotted filming. I actually got a couple of OC things today in my inbox that I didn't even get it. Who has time? I'm dealing with all these BravoCon panels with these bitches going wild on each other.
Well, this happened last year, remember? And she refused to film for quite a long time. And so...
Right, when she beat up production.
Mm-hmm. Allegedly. Yeah. So, I don't know. It should be interesting to see what happens with that. But I think something funky's happening. It could be, and I hope it's nothing serious. I hope it's that everything's okay.
Of course.
Maybe they're just having some empty nest. Well, I guess they
still have like 3 kids at home or however.
I don't remember.
They have a whole litter.
There was also that blind that we shared about Bravo filming a new real estate show in Houston. And funny enough, guess who came out? Ryan Serhant comes out this week saying that he's expanding his firm to Houston and other parts of Texas.
I don't think we've discussed this, but I love Ryan Serhant. He is a boss, and he also seems like such a great dad and husband. It doesn't hurt that he's beautiful. Do you find him beautiful?
I think his smile is magnetic.
I thought you were going to tell me he's too pretty.
Not my type, but his smile is like you can't deny it. I feel the same way about Peter Thomas, a magnetic smile.
Okay. Ryan Serhant could not be any more my type. He's just, I love pretty men and he's very pretty. But here's the thing. He's not listed at all at BravoCon. So if he was involved in that, I do feel like he'd be there. Unless, who knows? but maybe he's somewhere. He is a businessman. I am hearing some rumors about a Netflix or maybe even Amazon show for him. So the Houston thing, but there is this woman. Did we talk about this last pod? The beautiful woman filming in Houston?
Yes, we did.
So I actually messaged her. She didn't write back, but she did not confirm nor deny. She basically ghosted. She didn't even ghost me. She just ignored me. She never engaged to begin with. So
well, that's a sign in itself,
right? Especially because like you see that I'm a gossip account and like, you know, you want your stuff posted. So she's probably like, let me not even get involved with this crazy because she's going to do it. And then Bravo's going to be mad that I leaked it.
If it were so off base, then she would have responded and been like, I don't even know what you're talking about. That's so funny.
So Bravo, if you're hearing this, she did not respond to me at all. So this leak is not coming from, the call isn't coming from inside. This was from somebody else.
Good soldier there.
Yeah.
Okay, so Potomac. Back to Bravo, of course. Potomac season premiere. I'm so happy to have these ladies back because, to quote one of my favorite Potomac quotes, these ladies being messy as a train that always comes on time.
I mean, the thing we have to talk about and the coochie craving, it's just like who in their right mind has a coochie craving for Michael Darby?
Which, by the way, you guys, that was the post that B got reported for.
And every other account also posted it. And
on Instagram. Yeah.
Like, I don't want to sound like a petulant child, but it's not fair.
I mean, come on. Like, she literally said it on TV. If she could say it on TV, I don't know.
I can post it, but I don't care. And it doesn't matter because I'll come back every time. So I am not even a cat. Okay. I have more than 9 lives. So it's got to be a business deal at this point. I mean, the way her prenup was 5 years or more with the kids, and now they're buying a house together. Nobody buys a house together if you're going through a divorce. I don't give a shit. Giselle and Karen and everybody was right about that. I would love to see Candace and Ashley be friends. I actually think that they would be hysterical. And so I like that Candace was like supportive of her. Like, I thought that was very cool. It was a good side of Candace. And I think that Candace gets a bad edit. I think that they very much make her look, like I just said, I was acting like a petulant child. They really make her look that way. And like I've said here a million times, nobody is all good, all bad. There's all this gray area. And I think that the way that she was like, I'm so happy for her. She deserves better. She doesn't need him. I was like, yes, because you know, they don't like each other. But you know, like the fact that she still wants the best for Ashley, even though they've had their differences and they're not friends, I think speaks to Candace's character and a side of her that I would like to see. I want to see more of that nice Candace.
I was just going to say, let's see the good. If that's let's see the good at it of Candace. I agree with you that it's big of her to say that. I personally think that she flies off the handle and has an awful temper and gets physical. And I don't think a good at it or a bad at it could change that.
Yes, but I think that there is another side to her that we never see. Nobody's all bad. If she was a monster, she wouldn't have real friends, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I'm not saying I think she's a monster at all. I think
no, but the edit she gets really only shows that side of her.
Yeah, I agree. I'm sorry, I don't mean to come out like so hard against her. But I just think that some of the stuff that she does is not forgivable. I don't think getting physical with people is cool. But
we also, so speaking of Michael Darby, so I know a while ago he was spotted in a gay club, and a follower of ours shared that the gay club he was at, his corporation actually recently bought the club.
Whoever that follower is, if they want to join my rabbit hole team, it sounds like we could use their help.
Yes.
That they even were able to know.
Amanda, do you want to share your email for your rabbit holes?
Yes. So I have.
You could always message us at bravoandcocktails.com, but if you're more inclined to just email Amanda rabbit hole stuff.
Yeah, point me in the right direction, guys. And if you're ever having trouble, like, because we know that things have been kind of buggy on the website with Instagram and stuff, B just sent a follower to me the other day, and I think I was able to help her because I haven't heard back. So I'm hoping I was able to help her. But it's Amanda Cocktails and Gossip. So cocktails, AND gossip at gmail.com. So either, point me towards the rabbit holes, like help me research the rabbit holes.
Or even what rabbit holes you'd like Amanda to go down.
Yeah. Yeah. Like whoever, when we started reading about the socialite and the politician, I was like, ooh, this is a good one. So yeah, definitely.
On a Friday night, what Amanda likes is an edible and a rabbit hole. Let's just call it. Okay, let's just tell the people what it is.
It's true. Okay, so
you're making me kind of want to do an edible now.
Oh my gosh, they're so fun. You can,
but I always
really
have to,
small dose ones, like really small. I don't like a lot.
No, I have
a tiny bit.
I have a 5 milligram Lozenger. It's like a mint, and it just takes the edge off. But I will say this, and everybody's body's different. The next day I feel a little, not hungover, but I still feel a little high. So I always measure it with what time my kids' games are. Cause I don't want to roll into a soccer game a little high. Yeah.
I like even half of a 5 anyway.
We're
talking about dosage, you guys. Cause the other thing too, the reason
it's legal.
It's legal. But you guys, I get into the chips when I do it. So I'm I can't, this is a problem. I can't be eating the jalapeno chips. Half the bag. I want to.
I have a trick for that.
What?
So you do it. You shower or whatever your nightly routine is as far as, listen, we're women. We don't want to look like old women. Whatever your face routine, whatever it is. And you put on your comfy PJs and you get yourself into bed. And then it becomes, am I really going to go all the way downstairs for the chips?
The answer is yes.
See, my laziness trumps all.
Yeah, I don't know. I must have the munchie gene. So I don't know. So Ashley, back to Potomac, I think she's just being smart. I think her getting a house is part of this deal, and how she said that Michael keeps sending her more expensive ones. She's like, okay, smart. I would say go for it because she's going forward with the divorce, but she is clearly going to be the primary caretaker of the kids. So make sure you're getting a good place for them to grow up. And, I have to say my other favorite thing about Ashley, I love, we were talking about showing the mess. I love how open she is. As much as I don't want to think too hard about what happens in the bedroom with them, I love that she's so open about things. I love that she's open about the fact that they used to have threesomes, but then after having kids, she didn't like it anymore. And that, she told Michael that, and Michael was like, oh, it's just a phase. And that she was like, no. And then we got in a huge fight about it. That is what we need more of, I feel like, from our housewives. So I don't know. I'm excited for it to be back on.
So excited.
So Beverly Hills, the reunion. I mean, it was crazy. What did you think?
I mean, first of all, we were all waiting for the Kathy stuff. So I know we were all felt a little let down.
Yeah.
We posted, and I'm trying to remember when, but it's not going to happen. It was probably, I guess, as it was airing, the beginning of the season, Crystal and the 14 friends, someone sent us stuff, right? So I'm just going to read what we got.
Mm-hmm.
So we got it. Guys, we always get a few things. So I'm just going to kind of summarize. The reason that this OG Beverly Hills housewife is challenging the sophomore housewife about the story with her 14 friends is because she has it on good authority from a former housewife who is a close friend of the OG's. There's more to the story. Allegedly, a couple of her friends were being considered for Beverly Hills before she was approached. She really looked down upon it. She convinced them not to pursue it. And then when she was approached, she immediately signed up to do the show. So the 14 friends were like, F you. You told these two not to do it. And the second they came to you, you did it. Obviously, this is all allegedly. It's very clearly one-sided, right? We can guess who's sending this. I would guess the truth is somewhere in the middle. I will say, you know what I didn't like? And this is a little bit of an aside. And I like Crystal. I didn't like that thing with Sutton. I didn't like it because it is really wrong to even veiled insinuate that somebody is a racist.
Yeah.
It is, to me, the only thing more offensive would be to be a pedophile. So she, at the reunion, and Sutton let it go. And because Sutton's like, you know what, I got to move on from this because I don't want to beat the dead horse. I get where Sutton's coming from. It is. So I do think that Kyle, it was convenient for Kyle to pick on her because, listen, Kyle's friends with Teddy, and word on the street is when Crystal was cast, she kind of took Teddy's slot, right? There's only one slot for a millennial. And the other millennial was one of Kyle's soldiers. So clearly she would rather it was her. With that said, Kyle's right. Like, in that moment, what she should have said was, it isn't that she said something racist, but my perception of it was the way I took it hurt me, and we worked it out and we moved past it. But I don't like what she said, but it's not because she's a racist, right?
Yeah. And, it's funny. I'm glad you brought this up because I was watching this and I'm like, wow, we are spending 15 minutes on these two topics, right? The 14 friends thing and then the dark thing. And I'm like, I was getting a little bit bored, and I also was noticing Sutton didn't say a freaking word, or at least in the edit, she didn't. And everybody else is kind of jumping in. And Kyle especially is super needling at her. And I was like, I don't understand why this is so significant. Because it didn't, yes, of course, we spent a lot of time on it in the beginning of the season, but it didn't feel like it was one of the biggest drama pieces in the whole season. So this is what, I'm so glad you brought this up because it's making everything make a lot more sense, is Kyle, and I think even production is kind of trying to say, like, yes, there really was more to this. And Kyle is saying, look, like Crystal isn't what she comes off as. And there's a lot more to this story. So
yeah, that is what I took from it too. Yeah. I think that you can't present yourself as this innocuous character being attacked by older women and then accuse somebody in the way that she did. So, agreed. And again, I loved Crystal's second half of the season. With that said, to me, she comes off as a very entitled person. She has been with her famous rich husband for her entire adult life because they got together when she was 18 or 20, whatever it is. And she says something and he agrees and he pats her back. And that's what I see. That's my perception of her, and the whole Sutton thing and the way that she gets so offended and girl, like, toughen up. Or bounce.
Agreed. And I think it's probably going towards the latter. Okay, so then let's talk about, one thing I thought was very interesting is even just the very beginning of the reunion, looking at everyone's faces. So just even when they're saying hi to Andy, and Rinna is showing the bird, her lowest bird, and talking about how the angels are protecting her. Did you see Kyle's face? It was like, and I was like, oh, okay, this is how this is going to go. It was very clear. Like, they were going to go to battle.
Very clear. Very clear. Here's the thing, though. When we saw the episode where they cut scenes out, right? They do like never before seen. We see that Kyle says initially when Rinna is telling the story about Kathy, Kyle is like, told Erica and Rinna, good. Let everybody see the side of my sister that I see. Yeah. Let them see that she's not this easygoing, funny older woman. Let them see that she just guts people and she comes for people and she can be vicious. Let them see that. And then at her party, she wants to say to Erica, your publicist leaked it. You did this, you did that. And they have some deal because the two of them were taken aback, but they didn't say anything, right? They didn't say anything. They took it. But now that Rinna has gotten the brunt of everything, when Kyle initially, gave her the go, now it's going to go down.
She's got nothing to lose.
But Rinna has nothing to lose. But
Kyle's got nothing to lose.
And it begs the question, and we can pull this. Does Kyle not want to lose the relationship with her sister? Or is Kyle, like everybody else on that couch, except for apparently Rinna, scared to death of the power that her sister holds? So,
I mean, maybe a little both. It could be both.
and Diana was reading off cue cards. It's freaking bizarre. It looked like Garcelle annihilated her. I love how she said, "You must have a very low opinion of me if you think I would send bots to your 14-year-old." And Garcelle just goes, "Yeah, yeah, bitch, I do. I think you're a piece of trash."
Garcelle's face always speaks a million words, and you could just tell how pissed. And you could tell she was holding back her anger, and I don't freaking blame her.
I don't.
One
oh my
bit.
God. Oh
and
my
I love
Amanda and I have sons and daughters, and it's not. But like, you come from my kid, I will
fuck you up.
Yeah,
100%.
And then like, who the fuck is she talking about her? And nobody gives a shit about your investigation. Garcelle's like, I don't you worry, hon. I got it my own like Garcelle's gonna listen to her findings.
Just like we knew. Like I said this weeks ago. I'm like, if this were happening to my kid, I would not leave anybody with a badge alone until they started investing. I mean, that is a hate crime. That is an issue. That's a 14-year-old child. And you know what I thought was so interesting is Garcelle, she came dressed for battle. I mean, I think what she was wearing was a very purposely a don't fuck with me outfit down to the boots. She was not there to play. I think she did a really, really great job. And I didn't want to before. I still don't want to repeat that message that was sent to Jax, but the show, the reunion, put it on screen. Like I said, like any authority with a badge, I would be calling about that. And by the way, didn't you think it was interesting that Andy said they know it's bots?
Yes.
I thought that was interesting.
Yes. I wonder what Andy believes. I wonder what he really thinks in his gut. And do we think it's Diana? You know what? I don't ever need to see Diana again.
Well, wild theory for you. It could be that the reason that, okay, so remember the official reason that Diana wasn't there was because she had COVID, but we know she was in Hawaii. We saw pictures of her getting her hair and makeup done by people who did not have masks on.
Posted it.
So, yeah, my theory is they're keeping them separate and that this was always known because Garcelle, like, I would be like, I'm not going to be in the fucking room with that woman. Like, I wouldn't do it. And I'm sure the rest of the cast
100%
probably agreed to.
100%.
So, and especially with Bravo making such a, through Andy making such a strong statement about, hey guys, this is a show. Like, this is, like, let's not go after people, racism, all of that stuff. Like, that was a very strong message.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, my last thought on Beverly Hills. In the preview for next week, Kathy shows up in her nightgown and slippers.
Yes. Yes.
I had to watch it back a few times. I was like, oh, this is so good. And Kathy knows that we as fans just eat it up.
She does.
So good. Okay, Salt Lake City, what do you think?
Oh, Whitney's so fucking annoying. I mean, is she the Lisa Rinna of Salt Lake City? I think so. Listen, she's got this storyline she's creating about, God forbid that this abuse is true, okay? And it very well could be. My thing is, you find this out, your brother tells you, or you unlock a memory, the first thing you do is run in front of a camera and talk about that.
Did you see how they're both like putting their faces down in their hands?
Yeah.
Like, and kind of hiding them from the camera. And I was like, that's interesting.
I mean,
and I'm not saying I doubt it. It's just also, it's a little far-fetched and the timing is kind of convenient, but let's just say if she is going through that, that's an awful thing.
Yes.
To go through.
Then that whole exchange with her and Meredith, I have to assume that Whitney was drunk, right? They're doing shots, but she went to, her and Meredith were hanging out, and Meredith's like, I don't know, I've heard stuff. That's all really Meredith said, which, by the way, very hypocritical to sit on a high horse. Mm-hmm. Yes, Lisa and Meredith were friends at the time that Lisa said all those things. So it is a different scope. I can appreciate that. However, you are very happy to put it out there and let the other ladies give details, right? Because she did it with Jen Shah, and Jen Shah said what she had heard, more detailed. She did it with Whitney. Whitney gave this very detailed account of the guy who had tickets to the whatever those.
Right.
I don't even know what the hell the name of the basketball player.
The Utah Jazz.
There you go. and then Whitney's like flipping out, like, you put me in the middle, like, and I think people are saying that Heather overreacted. I think Heather was just done with Whitney's bullshit at that point.
I think too. I loved how Heather went in, and I guess this was, that morning, had gone into Meredith and was like, stop the bullshit, drop all of this. You've got to stop seeming like such a condescending bitch. And I think if I hear you, Heather, if I had been her, I would be like, look, like, let's just have some freaking fun. I'm tired of all of this fighting. This is the never-ending fight with Meredith. I mean, God forbid anybody get in a fight with Meredith. It's the never-ending fight.
Right.
I think they're all just done with it. But I also think, so Whitney bothers me a little bit too. But I think the reason Whitney freaked out so much is because she's like, I am being like the messenger once again, and here all the heat's on me, when Meredith is actually the one who told me some of this stuff, and the whole reason she's mad at Lisa is for talking shit on her too. So I don't know. I will have to say though, like, watching Meredith, I had this epiphany because I'm like, I think I know why she makes a good housewife. Part of it is, so first season, I think it was her eyebrows. Her eyebrows had a life of their own. The first season, do you remember how they were like almost to her hairline and huge? But now I think her eyebrow styling choices have evolved. She's really coming into her own because of her enunciation. Like she says, and her vocabulary. She's like, vitriol, venom, and hatred.
Yes.
And I just kept saying that in my head, like that night. I was like, vitriol, venom, and hatred. Like, who uses the word vitriol? But it really does kind of work for her. I don't know. It
does. Like, and listen, I like Meredith. I do like Meredith. To me, you can't be so mad and holding it and holding it and holding it and then doing the same thing to the person. First of all,
she's being a total
I don't know anything, right? I'm not in Salt Lake City. I do not believe that Lisa's cheating on John. I certainly do not believe that she's cheating on John for tickets to a Jazz freaking basketball game. Like, that's what I love about Heather, when Heather was like, oh yeah, she's turning tricks. So a bar carries her tequila. Like, are you okay? You know what? Meredith and Seth were split up. They both admitted they saw other people. Now, what Lisa said, I mean, listen, if that was my friend, we wouldn't be friends. But that doesn't mean that on camera, I'm gonna make some shit up about her either. Come on. You could just say she's a nasty bitch. She's not a loyal friend. She talks shit about me. A lot of it wasn't true. And leave it there.
Yeah. You also don't know what happens behind closed doors. And maybe there were, maybe somebody was stepping out in that relationship. Who knows? And who knows why, right? And maybe people could assume it's for one reason. It has nothing to do with that. I don't know. This season, it's so crazy that this whole beginning is so not about what the end is going to be. And I'm like, it's already so good. And I have to say, huge shout out to Jen. I'm bringing in a megaphone on every girl's trip.
I have to tell you, I like Jen so much, like, especially this season.
I know it's hard.
It sucks. It sucks. Like, I think what sucks about it for me, and I would assume you, and I would assume, most of the viewers, is that the fact that, she's obviously a good mom. She's obviously a very dedicated wife, and she seems to be a good friend. And yet she's capable of doing this thing, Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. It's just shitty.
Well, and like you said earlier, I mean, nobody's all bad.
Right.
And nobody, but it's just it's so hard to see past.
Like I think of it like
I wonder
this.
if she's
I
a
think of it like
Gemini.
this. Like if she was going to jail for tax evasion, I really wouldn't be like, I would still like her because to me,
Yeah.
I pay my taxes very begrudgingly, right? Because I know if I don't, I'm going to go to jail.
Don't
But
we
I
all?
don't want to
Yeah.
pay my fucking taxes. I don't want to earn $100 and have to give 50 of it to God knows what, right?
Right.
So I could be like, you know what? Fuck that. Even though it's not a victimless crime because we all have to pay our taxes. But I say that to say it's so different than scamming old people. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like if my friend, had an audit and she was like, B, oh my God, I'm jammed up because I undershot my taxes. I went to a creative accountant. I wouldn't be mad at her. I'd be like, damn, that sucks that you got caught.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's why people follow the rules because they don't want to get jammed up. I mean, that's just the reality of life, right? Where this is concerned, this is a moral thing, right?
Yeah.
It's
There's real victims,
Right.
real people on the other
Right.
end of that phone and on the other end of that credit card that we're paying her. So yeah, it's just I will have to have some of the cocktailers who are horoscope people because I'm like, maybe she's a Gemini because you know how they're the twins and they have like two sides. And I'm like,
Yes.
there's a side of her that I just like so much.
right.
She's so fun and I loved it how even her stylist called it, what did she call it? Like ratchet sophisticated or something like that. And I thought that was hilarious. Those boots that she wore on the bike thing, like you wouldn't even call them boots. They were like,
I got to
Paige
tell you
Sandal.
something that's coming into me right now.
ooh,
But I know we're going to tie this up. Candy's spelling is at BravoCon.
that's the oldie, or that's the person who people know who is coming to the show because we
a
saw
shout
something
out to
about-
Bravo Afterthoughts. A shout out to our boy Larry and my friend Victoria, who's the Reality TV Rewind. I want to make sure I get that one right because they're all awesome accounts. Follow them. They're there right now. I know. FOMO for me.
Tori's gonna be so pissed because she's been wanting a spot on that show for a long time.
This bitch. She kind of reminds me, their relationship reminds me of Deandra and Mama, whatever the hell they call her.
Kind of though. I think theirs is more hate than love hate.
Can you rabbit hole that for us? Can you rabbit hole? Can you?
Yes.
Because it's good. If she's going on, and guys, I'm just saying, she's at BravoCon. I'm watching her get mic'd up as we speak. And she certainly wasn't listed. And you know what? She's old Hollywood like our girl Kathy. So maybe the rumors aren't true that Kathy's leaving. Or is Kathy leaving and is Candy spelling the new Kathy? Guys, stay tuned.
Interesting.
We are going to try to put out a BravoCon episode. I don't know.
Yes, we are. We have to work through it because we have a feeling we're both going to be hungover on Sunday. We are going to do it because there's going to be so much good stuff. So you guys have so much. Well, this will come out after. I hope you all had a great time at BravoCon, and thanks for all the tips that you guys are sending in. I think this next few days is going to be a very interesting one, full of juicy tips.
By the way, Amanda, at
Yes.
least a dozen people have told Austin their Bravo and cocktails.
Poor Austin. Now I feel kind of bad. Like
I know. We're friends with
He's
him
re-
now.
he's redeeming himself.
I mean, I could have a friendship. I mean, we could move
broker
past
a
that.
truce.
Broker a truce. Larry tried at Bravo by Gays tried, but Austin was still being fresh with me. And,
Yeah.
I'm a stubborn. Listen,
Yeah.
you're not going to fuck with me, man.
This is going to be like a Camp David kind of situation.
Well, it's kind of like we both want each other to kiss the ring, but I think we have to accept that neither of us will. So who's going to give in more? It's not going to be me. I mean, I'm a girl. He should be a gentleman and give in more.
He's not all the way into fangirl territory for me yet. He has done a lot to redeem himself, though. This year.
Agreed.
So, all right, you guys,
Cocktailers.
thank you.
I hope you're having the best time over at BravoCon. And for those of you that can't make it, don't worry, because if you check out my Instagram, if you check out our site, we got all the tea. I promise you that.
won't miss a thing. All right. Love you guys.
Love you guys. Bye.
thank you guys so much for listening. Just want to ask you guys a favor, just getting kicked off. So many people have been asking us to do this podcast. So please do subscribe. And if you've subscribed, go to your podcast app and hit those 3 little dots to share with your friends, but only friends who like good tea, because the ones who don't care about tea, then forget them. And don't forget, find us on Instagram at Bravo and Cocktails _ and check out the website, because some great tea gets put there daily that would get us kicked off of Instagram. So thanks for listening, everybody.
Bye, guys. See you next time.